Hello and welcome to Dental Studies Simplified. I am Dr. Ankita Kotecha and today's topic is tunnel preparation. Another treatment option in treatment of furcation involvement, that is tunnel preparation or tunneling. So the first point under tunnel preparation is their indications. It is indicated in case of deep grade 2 lesions and grade 3 lesions according to Glickman's classification. As we have already discussed in previous videos about furcation involvement, grade 2 can be of 3 types based on the depth of the defect or the extent of the horizontal component, that is the interradicular bone loss component. So grade 2 can be shallow, intermediate or deep. In case of shallow grade 2, we have already discussed in the previous video, furcation plasty is indicated. In case of intermediate grade 2, regenerative is recommended, and in case of deep grade 2, which is almost reaching the next furcation and not through and through yet, it is almost reaching or trying to become a through and through, but it is not yet through and through. So in such deep grade 2 lesions, tunnel preparation is indicated, and the second indication is grade 3 lesion. Now grade 3 is already through and through bone loss, but it is not clinically visible. That means it is covered by or occluded by soft tissue component. So ultimately the idea behind tunnel preparation is to convert these deep grade 2 or grade 3 into grade 4. Grade 4 is through and through bone loss, which is clinically visible. Now why we want to convert a grade 2, deep grade 2 or grade 3 into grade 4? See, the main difference is clinically visible. Why we want to make a furcation involvement clinically visible? Simple. The objective is to allow the patient to access and maintain that area during their oral hygiene performance. Clear? When a patient performs the oral hygiene procedures on a daily basis, this furcation involvement area should be accessible and maintainable by the patient, and that is why it has to be clinically visible. So the whole idea behind performing tunnel preparation is to convert a deep grade 2 or a grade 3 into grade 4, which is clinically visible, a clear tunnel that is through and through bone loss, clinically visible, so that patient can maintain that area with the help of interdental or interproximal cleansing aids. Clear? This is in terms of the grades according to Glickman's classification. The another set of indications in terms of teeth or surfaces. Here the indication is only mandibular molars and not maxillary molars. Why? Because for a tunnel it has to be a straight one preferably. So to prepare a straight tunnel, the involved furcations should fall in the same line in a linear fashion or in the same path. So that is possible only in case of mandibular molars, in case of which the buccal and lingual furcations, they both fall in the almost same line. So a pretty much clear straight tunnel is possible to prepare. Whereas in case of maxillary molars, all the 3 furcations, that is mesial, distal or the buccal, neither of them fall in a straight line, and that is why a tunnel preparation cannot be performed on maxillary molars, and that is why the clear indication for tunnel preparation is mandibular molars. Again, not all mandibular molars are amenable to tunnel preparation. Again, under mandibular molars there are few criteria which, if fulfilled, tunnel preparation is indicated and performed. What are those criteria? Number 1, it has to have a short root trunk. Number 2, wider angle of separation. And number 3, it has to have a long divergence between the mesial and distal root. Now you should ask me why. We'll understand on this illustration. Imagine if this tooth, this mandibular tooth has a longer root trunk, somewhat like this. Okay. So we have, let's say, deep grade 2 or grade 3 on a mandibular molar which has a longer root trunk. I hope you can appreciate this long root trunk. Just compare with this illustration. A short root trunk, here we have a long root trunk. Now if in this case, if it has a deep grade 2 or a grade 3 involvement, how are we supposed to prepare tunnel preparation, which is practically possible, and even forget it for once if even I accept that it is practically possible. But my next question is, how will it be maintained then after? That is my main concern. So on this tooth, even if we prepare a tunnel, imagine how much will be the bone available. I am just trying to draw an imaginary line which denotes the level of the alveolar bone crest after preparing a tunnel. This is the area of tunnel. This is the minimum tunnel I feel is required for patient to maintain that area. So imagine the tooth length, the root length and the available bone here, almost below apical third. So that is why this tooth cannot be maintained in long term. So the long term consequences of treating a mandibular tooth with a long root trunk by tunnel preparation is highly impractical, and that is why the main indication of tunnel preparation is mandibular molar with a short root trunk. If in this case we perform a tunnel preparation, we still expect to have a minimum of 50% of bone height available, which is a minimum basic criteria to maintain a tooth. Okay, that bone support is maybe we can expect that this available bone will be able to support the tooth. That is why the main criteria is mandibular molar with a short root trunk. Talking about the divergence, let's say even if we have a short root trunk, but we have a narrow angle of narrow angle of separation. In this case, even if we perform tunnel, this tunnel is too narrow to maintain. That is, on a daily oral hygiene maintenance procedure by the patient, this tunnel would be too narrow to maintain, and that is why we want a wider angle of separation. This angle between the two roots should be wide enough. So the greater the value of the degree of separation or this angle of separation, better for the patient to perform practically. And that is why we have the number 2 criteria. It should have a wider angle of separation, which will be in terms of degree. The value will be in terms of degree. Another point is this distance, the divergence. Imagine if we have roots which are something like this. Again, the tunnel prepared would be too narrow. And that is why ultimately the final conclusion about indications, deep grade 2 and grade 3 lesions according to Glickman's classification on mandibular molars only, which have a short root trunk, a wider angle of separation and a long divergence between the mesial and distal roots. Clear till now? I hope we are clear with the indications. Now we will proceed to the treatment step by step. So this is our tooth with a short root trunk, wide angle of separation and long divergence. Okay. So the number 1 step is full thickness flap reflection, because we want to access that area. Very simple. The first step is full thickness flap preparation, because we will expose that area and access that area to perform the tunnel preparation. So let's say our flap margins pre-operatively are at this level, and we will reflect them and place them at this level. They are just held at this level. This is not their final position. We are just exposing this lesion, which may be deep grade 2 or even grade 3. So now we are just creating our case scenario. For full thickness flap preparation, we have exposed this flap margins in blue color pre-operatively and converted them into green margins for your explanation. And upon exposing the area, the bone level can be expected somewhere here. With these red dotted lines, expect our bone margins, the alveolar crest margins, to be somewhere here. Okay, so this is our case scenario onto which the number one step is, of course, under local anesthesia, we will reflect a full thickness flap preparation. Okay, and hold it at this position with the elevator so that our furcation area is exposed. Now the number two step is, of course, granulation tissue removal to the defect. Okay, granulation tissue removal followed by thorough SRP, scaling and root planing, so that our area of interest is now cleanly available to us, clean and neat. And then the number three step is going to be bone removal from the interradicular area. That is, here in this area, this is our crest. Okay, this is our alveolar crest level. If it is a grade 2 lesion, certain amount of interradicular bone in the horizontal manner is still possibly present there, of course, right? So that bone is removed so that we create a through and through lesion first. That is done. That component of interradicular bone is first removed, and then once it is grade 3, that is through and through bone loss in horizontal component manner, then we remove the interradicular bone entirely. This entire interradicular bone which is possibly present is also removed, so that I'll just show here. If this furcation entrance, with this furcation entrance which has this interradicular bone in this fashion, is now converted into a wider one. So this interradicular bone which is present onto the roof of the furcation or at the entrance of the furcation is also removed from the furcation area only. I am still talking about the furcation interradicular between the roots. I have still not proceeded to the interdental bone, which will be the next step. I am talking about the interradicular bone which is possibly present on all the surfaces of the furcation area, possibly the roof and the adjacent surfaces. From there, there are two areas where interradicular bone is present. One is this horizontal fashion. Onto this proximal side, imagine if there is a through and through bone loss, okay, bone is totally absent in this horizontal manner. But if it is a deep grade 2, then the bone loss is still here. A certain amount of bone is still present in the horizontal fashion. So first that bone is removed to create a through and through lesion first, and then so this area is cleared once, this tunnel area, and then widening of the furcation entrance is done by removing the interradicular bone from the furcation roof and the adjacent surfaces. So overall widening of the furcation entrance is achieved. Why this widening? So that our interproximal aids are possibly able to enter this area and keep it clean and neat. Okay, so cleansing is possible easily by the patient on a daily basis. So this is the step number 3, bone removal. That is both from this horizontal level and widening also. Both the case bone removal is done, and then the final step is apical positioning of the flap after adjusting this alveolar crest also. If you can appreciate the alveolar crest, which is not in a proper fashion. So after this interradicular bone, the next step is interdental bone. So this interdental bone is also adjusted, leveled together. Somewhere it is higher, somewhere it is lower. So this entire alveolar crest is now made. I will draw it with another color for clarification. The final alveolar level will be, alveolar crest level will be somewhat a flat outline. Without being too radical, let's just say it will be a flat outline comparatively. So this is our flat outline, and we get this wide furcation entrance which is going to be clinically visible. Okay. And then the final step is going to be the flap margin positioning. With the green color, we will denote the flap margin, which was earlier at this level in the blue color. Now the flap margins are post-operatively apically repositioned at the level of this newly created alveolar crest height. So onto this height we have our flap margins. So the final operative site will look like this, with the apically positioned flap and a clinically visible through and through tunnel, that is which we call as grade 4 furcation involvement by classification of Glickman. So we have created a clinically visible tunnel which is easily accessible and maintainable by the patient for daily oral hygiene maintenance. So this is the complete procedure of tunnel preparation. The final step is apical positioning of the flap. Now in this case, the main point is while trimming the bone, we have to be very careful, otherwise we may end up trimming the tooth portion and leads to root sensitivity and sometimes even carious lesions, because it is going to be clinically visible ultimately. So it will be constantly exposed to the oral cavity and its associated microflora. So that is why this area, the trimming that is performed in this area has to be very carefully done. We have to restrict ourselves to only interradicular bone removal rather than removing the tooth portion. Otherwise we may end up in root sensitivity and carious lesions development. Clear? So this is the entire procedure of tunnel preparation. A quick summary: tunnel preparation is a technique used to treat the cases of deep grade 2 lesions and grade 3 lesions to convert them into grade 4, which is a tunnel through and through bone loss, that is a tunnel but clinically visible, so as to be able to be maintained by the patient on daily basis. Indications: deep grade 2 and grade 3 lesions according to Glickman's classification only on mandibular molars with a short root trunk, wider angle of separation and long divergence, compulsorily, strictly. Okay, not otherwise. It is not possible on all the mandibular molars. Forget about maxillary molars, it's not in the picture anyways. Only on mandibular molars, but with a short root trunk, wider angle of separation and a long divergence. With this, the number one step in performing tunnel preparation is a full thickness flap preparation and reflection, followed by granulation tissue removal and SRP, so that we get a clean and neat site, and only restrict ourselves to interradicular bone removal, which is in the way of the horizontal component, to create a through and through tunnel, and over the under the surface, that is roof and the adjacent surfaces, so as to widen the entrance ultimately. Clear? And then just leveling of the alveolar crest interdentally to get a almost flat outline, at least if not the negative. We just try and manage to get a flat outline, that is the architecture, bony architecture. And final apical repositioning of the flap, so as to keep this newly created wide furcation entrance and the tunnel clinically visible and open for the patient to maintain and cleanse it. So this is the technique, tunnel preparation. I hope the entire concept is clear to you all. But if you still have any doubts or any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section below, or my email ID dentalstudiessimplified@gmail.com, or even on my Facebook or Instagram messengers, and I will reply to you on all the available platforms. Thank you for watching and listening to me. Study well, have a good day, stay safe.